Good afternoon. This is Kathleen Drew, Chair of the Washington Energy Facilities Siting Council. Our July meeting comes to order now. Ms. Owens, will you call the roll?
Department of Commerce.
Kate Kelly, present.
Department of Ecology.
Rob Dangle, present.
Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Excused.
Department of Natural Resources.
Lenny Young, present.
Utilities and Transportation Commission.
Stacy Brewster, present.
Local government and optional state agencies for the Goose, Prairie project, Department of Transportation.
Bill Sorial, present.
For the Horse Heaven project, Department of Agriculture.
Derek Sanderson, present.
And for Benton County. The Assistant Attorney General.
John Thompson, present.
Administrative Law Judges, Johnette Sullivan. Adam Torum. Okay, for EFSEC Council staff, Sonia Bumpus. Amy Hafkemeyer.
Sonia Bumpus, assistant present.
Oh, thank you, Sonia. Amy Hafkemeyer. Amy Moon.
Present. Thanks.
Kyle Overton.
Kyle Overton here.
Joe Wood.
Joe Wood, present.
Sean Chisholm.
Sean Chisholm, present.
Patty Betts.
Patty Betts, present.
Stu Henderson.
Here.
Stephen Posner. For our operational facility updates, Kittitas Valley Wind Project.
Eric Melbardis, present.
Wild Horse Wind Power Project.
Jennifer Galbraith, present.
Grace Harbor Energy Center.
Grace Harbor Energy Center, Chris Sharon is present.
Chehalis Generation Facility. Columbia Generating Station and WNP 1 and 4.
Mary Ramos, present.
For the Columbia Solar Project.
Owen Hurd, present.
For the Council for the Environment.
Bill Sherman here. With me also is Assistant Attorney General Megan Salome from our office.
Thank you. And is our court reporter present?
Yes, this is Taylor Garlinghouse, present.
Thank you. Chair, there is a quorum for the regular council and for the Goose, Prairie, and Horse Heaven councils. Chair, you appear to be muted.
Oh, there we go. So I see that Mr. Brost is present. Perhaps he'd like to try his microphone so we make sure we're connected there.
I can hear you all.
I just heard you faintly there, so thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to introduce themselves at this point?
Hi, this is Judge Torum for the Horse Heaven Wind Project.
Thank you.
Tim McMahon with Stoll Reeves.
Okay.
Blake Bjornson with One Energy for the Goose Prairie Solar Project is here.
Okay, thank you. We will now move on to the proposed agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the proposed agenda?
Rob Dangle, motion to adopt proposed agenda.
Are there any changes or corrections? Oops, I need a second.
This is Stacy Brewster. I second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the proposed, adopting the proposed agenda, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. The agenda is adopted. Moving on to the meeting minutes from our June 15th, 2021 monthly meeting. You have had an opportunity to review the minutes from the meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
This is Kate Kelly. I move to approve the minutes from June 15th, 2021.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Rob Dingle, second.
Are there any corrections to the draft minutes from June 15th? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from June 15th, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved. I should also let everybody know that I believe we are live streaming on TVW again this month. So just a heads up to all of you. As usual, our minutes will be posted from June following this meeting, and then again after our August meeting for the July, but our proceedings will be posted before that. So you can find them on our website. Moving on to our project operational updates. We have Kittitas Valley Wind Project. Mr. Milbardis.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC staff and council. For the record, this is Eric Melbardis with EDP Renewables for the Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project. We had nothing non-routine to report for the period. However, I will add that we've had excellent wind this past month, and we haven't had any wildfires or smoke in our area yet. So all is well here.
Thank you. We certainly hope that continues. Wild Horse Wind Power Project, Ms. Galbraith.
Yes, thank you, Chair Drew, council members and staff. This is Jennifer Galbraith with Puget Sound Energy for the Wild Horse Wind Facility, and I have nothing non-routine to report for the month of June.
And same for you. Are you experiencing any difficulties from wildfires yet at this point?
Nope, not at all. So we're in the same valley here, and what Eric reported is what we're seeing here at Wild Horse as well.
Thank you. Moving on to Hales Generation Facility. Is Mr. Miller on, or Mr. Overton, are you giving the report?
Hello, yeah, this is Kyle Overton, the EFSEC site specialist for the Hales facility. I'll be reporting on behalf of Mr. Miller today. The Hales facility had no non-routine items to report for the month of June.
Thank you. Moving on to Grays Harbor Energy Center, Mr. Sharon.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, EFSEC staff. I'm Chris Sharon, a plant manager from Grays Harbor Energy Center. For the month of June, we finished our annual outage and completed our major inspections in Unit 1 and steam turbine, and also completed the AGP upgrade on both GT1 and GT2. We also provided EFSEC staff notice of operation for each of the gas turbines on completion of the outages. In the month of June, we submitted letters notifying EFSEC staff of emissions events on the 18th and 21st, similar to the April event. The events were technical violations of our air operating permit. However, we didn't exceed any environmental limits. We At the time, as noted in the notes, it said Grace Harbor Energy Center is currently coordinating with ORCA and EFSEC staff for the next step in the event. And since then, we've received the final resolution letter from EFSEC staff. I'll note that in next month's operating notes. When we also submitted our 2021 rata test plan to EFSEC staff and ORCA. Other than that, I don't have any other non-routine items to report, Chair Drew.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Congratulations on completing your upgrades, and
thank you.
Thank you for your report. Columbia Generating Station and Washington WNP 1 and 4. Ms. Ramos.
Good afternoon, Chair Drew, EFSEC council members and staff. This is Mary Ramos reporting for Energy Northwest. I have a few items to report for the month of June. The first item, in June, Energy Northwest submitted plans for the Columbia Generating Station Deschutes Building fire alarm upgrades. The plans were submitted to close out a finding from the 2020 fire marshal inspection, and we do have a re-inspection scheduled for August 4th. The next update I have is that also in June, EFSEC issued a temporary state waste discharge permit for the Columbia Generating Station and Industrial Development Complex sanitary waste treatment and disposal system. The temporary permit is effective for 5 years or until a state waste discharge permit is issued. And I do want to note that we appreciate the opportunity to review the draft temporary permit and work closely with EFSEC prior to issuance. My last update is that our refueling and maintenance outage concluded on the 19th of June, and our outage was completed in 42 days. That's all I have.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to our facility update for Columbia Solar Project. And this is our first facility update, Mr. Hurd.
Great. Good afternoon, Chair Drew, council members, and EFSEC staff. This is Owen Hurd from Tuso Energy reporting on the Columbia Solar projects. We mobilized the week of June 28th. So for the purpose of this update, since we're just getting started, I'll talk a little bit about what happened both in June and then what's happened since. In general, we're leading off with Penstemon, followed by Camas and then Utica, and so the schedules are staggered by about 2 to 4 weeks. To date, the work has primarily consisted of site prep, so getting BMPs in place, establishing laydown areas, and detailed construction surveys at all sites. Barn demolition was completed last week at Camas, and we've just started driving piles this week on Penstemon. We've had several inspections. Golder was on site July 7th and 13th to inspect for environmental compliance at all sites. Northwest Code was on site at Penstemon on July 23rd to inspect underground trenching and electrical work. Over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we'll be completing the fence installation, racking delivery, more pile driving on Penstemon, and underground work and equipment pads related to interconnection on Penstemon and Camas, and completing BMPs and site prep on Utica. The kind of overall timeline for these projects is at a high level to get them completed by end of year 2021. However, Camas and Utica are likely to slide into early 2022. So in terms of when the mechanical construction will be complete, we're shooting for end of October for Penstemon, end of November for Camas, and end of December for Utica. Equipment delays have probably been the biggest source of schedule uncertainty due to COVID lockdowns and container shortages. We've expedited some equipment, piles and skids, and torque tubes had been pushed out by 1.5 to 2 months at the time of our monthly report submission that you have in front of you. But we've actually gained some of that back in the past week and a half as torque tubes were sent earlier than we had feared. So Overall, things are moving along according to schedule, and we'll keep you posted as things progress.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council members for Mr. Hurd? Thank you, and congratulations on the start of your construction.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Overton, I believe you also have comments.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to take the opportunity to update the council on some upcoming activity for the Columbia Solar Project. EFSEC staff and the certificate holder are coordinating on the drafting of an application for SCA amendment to terminate the SCAs for the Taifa and Fumeria sites and transfer of SCA control of the Camas, Penstemon, and Utica sites to Greenbacker Renewable Energy Corporation. Once a formal application has been received, the application will be provided to the council for their review and consideration. Per WAC 463-66100, the transfer of an SCA requires a public informational meeting to be held prior to the council making a termination, and a public comment period is not required for this process. Staff are working to schedule this public comment, public informational meeting, and we'll update the council as we are able. And as you heard, representatives from TUSO, Mr. Owen Hurd is here to answer any questions if you have any.
So, Mr. Overton, the process is a SCA amendment to complete this. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yes, there's several moving parts here, and we've been working closely with the applicant and John Thompson to make it as clear as possible in that application document about what the process is and what to expect moving forward. So once that's finalized, again, that'll be provided to the council and should hopefully outline what to look forward to as we move forward in this process.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to make it clear it's not a new application, but an amendment to the existing SCA.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Are there any other questions from council members?
This is Stacy Brewster. I'm sorry if I missed it. Was there a timeline for us getting a look at that document?
We're in the very final stages of getting the language hammered out, so we don't have an exact timeline, but I'm hoping within the next week or two that should be finalized and ready for review.
Thanks.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Overton.
Thank you.
Chair Drew, this is Sonia Bumpus.
Yes.
I just wanted to add, Chair Drew, that when we do receive the formal amendment request for our Columbia Solar, it will be posted to the council SharePoint site and to the EFSEC website project page. So I just wanted to note that for council members and the public.
So the public will see it as we see it?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Important clarification. Moving on to the Desert Claim Wind Power Project, Ms. Moon.
Good afternoon, Council Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon providing an update on the Desert Claim project. EFSEC staff continue to coordinate with Desert Claim. However, there are no project updates at this time.
Thank you. And now the Horse Heaven Wind Project, Ms. Moon.
So again, good afternoon, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Amy Moon providing an update on the Horse Heaven Wind Project. The comment period for the State Environmental Policy Act, or SEPA, determination of significance and request for comments on the scope of an environmental impact statement, or EIS, for the Horse Heaven Wind Project closed after a 30-day public comment period on June 10th, 2021. So let me go back without defining all the acronyms again. Put simply, the SEPA comment period for scoping for the EIS closed on June 10th. A total of 361 comments were received during the comment period. EFSEC staff are processing the comments and working with our consultant, Golder, to identify the resources that require detailed analysis in the EIS. Data requests were submitted to the applicant May 27th and July 16th of 2021. The May data request was for information on habitat in preparation for the applicant to conduct 2021 field surveys. The July data request was for additional information and clarification on several resource topic areas, including earth, air, surface water and wetlands, water source, vegetation, wildlife, energy and natural resources, land and shoreline use, cultural, historic, aesthetics, light and glare, noise, environmental health, heat dissipation, transportation, stormwater, and wastewater. So it was a fairly long list for data requests. The data requests inform the SEPA scoping process as well as preparation of the draft EIS. A site visit is scheduled with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, EFSEC, and the applicant for July 23rd, 2021, so that's this Friday. The site visit was requested by WDFW to assist in the review of the project proposal. The SEPA process is underway, and EFSEC received a draft scoping memo from our contractor on July 12, 2021. The scoping memo provides recommendations on resource topics for EFSEC staff to consider in the draft EIS. However, the EFSEC SEPA responsible official, which is Sonia Bumpus, will determine the resource topics that will be considered and presented in the draft EIS. EFSEC staff are currently in the process of presenting scoping recommendations to the SEPA responsible officials. The scoping decision will inform the overall project schedule development. Once the scope is determined, the draft EIS, or DEIS, will be prepared. At this time, staff are anticipating a 30-day public comment period for the DEIS. Additionally, staff are coordinating with Judge Torum to schedule the next steps for the adjudicative process. That was a lot. Does the council have any questions?
So if I could ask a couple of questions here. First of all, I hear that we had numerous, more than dozens, in the 300 comments on scoping. So we're working our way, the staff, not the council, because that's the staff's role, through those and with the consultant, and that we received initial information from the consultant review. At the same time, sounds like after that, another data request was sent out to the applicant. And so I guess the question is either for you or Ms. Bumpus, are we waiting for responses from that for Ms. Bumpus to complete work on the final EIS reports that we will be requesting?
Well, let me take a stab at that first, and then Sonia can add to it. We did get a response to data request number 1 this past week, and so we will be evaluating that. And then we sent out a data request number 2, but the response isn't due back until mid-August, and then we'll evaluate that as well. But the scoping memo is really what informs the SEPA responsible official of what analysis and topics need to be covered in the draft EIS, and the data request, of course, will inform the draft EIS. And so we've been sending out data requests for information that we feel needs to be clarified from the application, and all of that informs the draft EIS. And then we're anticipating more data requests as the process moves forward, because as the process moves forward, things need to be clarified. Did that answer your questions?
That did, and when you talk about the 30-day public comment period for the draft EIS, it will probably be a few months before the draft EIS is completed. We don't have a timeline yet, but
well, the comment period comes after the draft EIS is issued for the public to comment on it, but no, we're developing that timeline, and that's really tied in with scoping and what the SEPA responsible official puts forward as topics that need to be in the EIS or the draft EIS.
And that information will be published on our website when that is completed in terms of the scoping memo. Yeah, correct. So EFSEC, responsible official Sonia Bumpus, will issue a letter or a memo that outlines what will be in the draft EIS, and that will be posted for the public to see, and we will notify the council and make those statements at a council meeting in the future. Thank you very much. It is a complicated process, and I would add that the adjudication will not start until after the draft EIS is issued. So just for the council members to know what are on the next steps. I see Mr. Brost, you have some comments or questions. Is that what I'm seeing? I see you popping in and out on the side. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there you are.
Okay, so no, I don't have any questions. I was just listening intently.
Okay, thank you. Do other council members have any questions? Okay, thank you very much. That was a lot of information, and we look forward to additional information. Again, the comments from scoping are available on our website under Horse Heaven Project for the public to look at as well. Moving on to the Goose Prairie Solar Project, Mr. Overton's back.
Yes, thank you. This is Kyle Overton, the site specialist for the Goose Prairie project. The SEPA public comment period for the Goose Prairie project ended on July 8th, and 16 comments were received, which are available to view on the EFSEC website. Several substantive comments were received, and staff are in the process of reviewing these comments and are also drafting revisions to the mitigated determination of non-significance, or MDNS. WAC 463-43050 requires that a SEPA determination be made prior to making a decision on the applicant's request for expedited processing. It is EFSEC staff's recommendation that a decision on expedited processing not be made until the revisions to the MDNS are finalized. Staff are also recommending a special meeting be held on August 6th for the council to make a final decision on expedited processing. Are there any questions?
So the meeting is scheduled for August 6th at 11 a.m.?
I think we're proposing the meeting be held on August 6th. I don't have details on the time. Maybe Amy is there, or Sonia.
Chair Drew, this is Amy Hofkemeyer. Yes, we do have a special council meeting scheduled that staff are still preparing the notice for 11 a.m. on Friday, August 6th.
Thank you. For those of you who know our Ms. Amy Kidder, she has changed her last name to Hofkemeyer, but it is the same Amy, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And did you have anything to add on the report for the Goose Prairie Solar Project?
Are you asking me, Chair Drew?
Yes.
No, I don't have anything else. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. The last item on our agenda is the cost allocation for the quarter. Ms. Bumpus.
Thank you. And again, good afternoon, Chair Drew and council members. For the record, this is Sonia Bumpus. As we do at the beginning of every new quarter, we have the non-direct cost allocation percentages. This is for first quarter fiscal year 2022, covering July 1, 2021 through September 30th, 2021. For Kittitas Valley Wind Power Project, 6%, Wild Horse, 6%, Columbia Generating Station, 26%, Columbia Solar, 11%, WNP1, 3%, Whistling Ridge, 3%, Grays Harbor 1 and 2, 10%, Chehalis, 10%, Desert Claim, 3%, Goose Prairie Solar, 10%, and Horse Heaven Wind Farm, 12%. And that concludes my update for the non-direct cost allocations.
Thank you. We are at the end of our formal agenda, and at this point, what I would like to do is, you heard them introduced at the beginning of our council meeting, but we have two siting and compliance specialists who have joined our staff. So at this point, I'd like to welcome Joe Wood and Sean Chisholm. And you'll see Joe is working on the transmission corridor, the transmission work group, and the CISA, the mapping project with the Department of Defense and Commerce and Stu Henderson, as well as Sean Chisholm. There's Joe. So welcome to the staff, Joe. And Sean Chisholm, and he is working to learn the active projects that are in front of us and perhaps some of the new ones we anticipate coming our way. So you will hear more. And Ms. Hofgemeyer, I hear that perhaps you would like to also welcome the staff.
Oh, yes. I didn't have much more to add except to say that both Joe and Sean have joined us at a very busy time and have jumped right in and are keeping their heads above water quite well.
Thank you. And welcome to the team. And I know the council members will, and the public will get to know you over time. So appreciate that you were willing to join us and work on these projects before us. With that, our meeting is concluded, and I want to thank everyone for participating and encourage you to stay informed on the projects in front of us through our website and to communicate with us, especially the staff, because as many of you know, the council doesn't respond directly because we are waiting for the staff to complete the EIS work to complete our process on these projects. So please continue to check our websites for updated information, and we look forward to our future meetings. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.